Hello and welcome back to Regulatory Solutions. My name is Cameron and I will be walking you through this video today. We're basically picking up from where we left off in the last video, which was our shopping cart video, or basically our sign up, how to select a plan and get to the shopping cart and pay. So if you haven't watched that, you need to know how to do that. Please watch that video. Otherwise, this will be how you log into the program and start using it. So once you've selected your plan and paid and everything, you should come back to this login page and just put in your username and password and log in. And this is where we'll pick up. Okay, so we have now logged back into the program. We're at our main dashboard. Now, if you're a first-time user, your dashboard's going to look a little bit different. You're only going to have a couple of these tiles here because you don't have any filer information in. So what we do in the filer information is we select your technology types and some other things, and that really determines which tiles appear on this dashboard. So this user, for instance, has wireless, so he needs his sites and APs, and then his throughput settings and RF settings, and he also has fiber, so there's a section for that. Now, if he had copper or cable, there would be other tiles for those as well. So, and then if you're doing BDC, which of course you are because you're at this dashboard, then you will have this broadband fabric files uploaded, which really we don't require anymore. We're going to get into that in a minute. And then the subscriber spreadsheet uploaded. So the subscriber spreadsheet is very, very important. And of course, we'll be getting to that. So let's go through each section one at a time here. And we'll just start with the filer information because that is key. So obviously he's already had some information in here, but basically this first section is just for you to select your technology type. And these should be pretty self-explanatory. The one thing I'll make a comment about is the fixed license wireless. This is if you're operating in the educational band or the CBRS bands. And when I say CBRS, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a PAL license. So if you're just operating under GAA, then you need to select this box as well because they do consider that licensed, whether it's GAA or PAL. So please check this box if you're operating at all in that 3.5 or what they used to call 3.65 band. So again, just check your other technologies if you use any of these. For company info, the one caveat here, so if you're using CN Heat to create your polygons or to do your RF analysis, we can accept those files that they export into our system and do an analysis on them. It's very similar to how we do our fiber optic analysis and things. Basically, we're just getting the polygons that they export, and we're doing, basically finding the BDC locations that fall within those polygons and at the right throughput levels and things like that. So when you export your polygons from them, they come in kind of tiered polygons that are based on your speed tiers. Their settings are very similar to ours as far as how we set that up for how we determine what speed you're able to provide and things like that. So if you use that program, they'll obviously help you with that, and you'll be able to export those so that we can use them. So that's the only thing. If you're using that, check that box. If you're doing voice at all and you file a 499, you do need to check this box. And once you check that, you'll be able to put in your 499. And if you have a study area code, you'll put that in as well. You do have to have a 499 if you select this box. They will not accept the filing if you just upload the files and don't have a 499 ID. So keep that in mind. So if you want to file voice, you need to go get a 499 ID, which is a little bit of a process. And I would suggest that if you haven't done that up to this point, that you either wait, either go and get your 499 ID and do it next time, or try to get it in before we do the filing. It's not as easy as it seems, and so just keep that in mind. Allow my data to be shared with a third party. So this is if you are financed or you have a loan or something like that from a bank, and they need to ensure that you are within compliance with all the federal regulations. We can actually share when we file to be able to let them know that you are in compliance. So also, if you're a government entity like a county or city or something, you can check this box. So your brand names, holding company, these should be pretty self-explanatory. Study area code, most people don't have these in this industry that we're dealing with. So your filing contacts, chances are you're not going to have your own certifying engineer. This is if you have your own PE. We actually have a PE that's going to certify this for you. So unless you have a PE on staff or that you are using or hiring, do not check that box. So your data contact, emergency contact, certifying contact, if these are different, you're going to need to add each one of these as a new contact. So you just select this box, put their name and relevant information in and hit submit, and then they will be selectable in these drop downs. So, so basically that's what this is. If you, have contacts, you need to put them in. Also, if you're a new user to the program, you're going to have to put yourself in. If you're the one that's doing all the certifications and everything, you're going to have to be the one that does all this, and you have to put yourself as a contact as well. We don't carry over the login contact as one of these for various reasons. It could be that the person doing the filing is not the contact. So we do require all those to be created. So again, we also are doing the filing for you. So you need to put in your FRN, your course username, and course password, because that allows us to actually get in and do your filing. So that's it for this. Once you save this, it will bring you back to the dashboard, and we will continue on from here. Let's get into our wireless section here. So because most of our customers are wireless, we used to have you do your sites first and then your APs. And of course, you got to do your RF throughput settings. We're going to look through all these, but we've changed this as of the last period. We've changed it so that you don't have to do a separate site and AP template. If you just do the AP template, it is going to bring in your sites as well. So it will create those sites for you. So let's take a look at the APs. So obviously this customer already has a bunch of APs in. We're not going to worry too much about this. Your section will be blank here. Your table will be blank when you come in here if you haven't uploaded prior data. If you have uploaded prior data and you've just added maybe 1 or 2 towers since the last time, then I would suggest that you just use the Add AP button here, which will just take you to a form, and you can add those manually. Trying to upload a new spreadsheet is going to it's going to wipe out all your old data and just upload the newest spreadsheet, which is fine. We can do that. But if you only got a few, it might be better just to put them in by hand. So let's come back to the table here. And for those of you who are new to this and you need a template file, you can either get those from our main website, or of course you can download them here, right? So you could just click this button, it will download a file. If you want to view the instructions, which we highly recommend that you view the instructions, I'm going to go ahead and show you what this looks like. So this is basically just a quick reference page to what the fields are in the CSV file that you're going to download, and if there's any special formatting that you have to do for those, or special entries. So one thing to note, we don't need any units anywhere. This just numbers in the fields in this spreadsheet. So we understand what the units are already, so we don't need any units. So don't put dBm for powers, don't put megahertz for frequencies, don't put megahertz for channel widths, nothing like that. Don't put degrees for azimuth. We just need raw numbers. As far as the license section goes, this is kind of important too. So if you're doing wireless, obviously APs, unlicensed, you're just going to put the word unlicensed. If it's operating in a PAL license, you're just going to put PAL. If it's not, you're going to put GAA. And if it's an educational, like in the 2.5 gigahertz band, you're going to put educational. So please be aware, this is an important, probably the most important section as far as how we're going to report your wireless stuff. Business residential, this is another one a lot of people get wrong. They'll put no or yes. We want a 0 or a 1. Okay, so don't put no, yes, true, false, nothing like that. It's just a 0 or 1. Same thing for residential, 0, 1. Speeds, these are all in megabits per second. So just put a number. We understand it's megabits per second, so all we need is a number. So please read through these. Make sure that all the fields are filled out. We actually need all of these fields. If we don't have them, it's not going to work. So please take some time and read through this. It will really help us out. So if you upload those, once you get those filled out, you'll come in here and upload. You choose the file that you just created, and and then you say open, and it will upload once you click the upload file. Now it will take a few seconds because it is going to go through and do a bunch of error checking on that file. If there's errors, it's going to basically come back and show you all your errors in red under here. And of course, you'll want to deal with those, go make modifications, and then re-upload the file and try again. If for some reason you can't resolve the errors, or if you click upload file and you never get a response or it times out on you, then please give us a call, because there's something wrong with that file and we need to take a look. So that's the important part there. So once you do upload them successfully, you'll see all your APs populate in this table. Just like we see here. And once you have those here, you'll be able to just click on the name and edit it if you want, or look at it, see what the data is in that field, and that kind of thing. So it also is going to create your sites for you. So that's one more thing to be very aware of when you're filling out your CSV template for this page. The site names for all the APs on the same site need to match. Otherwise, it's going to create different sites. So for every site name it finds in the AP template sheet, it creates a site. So for every unique one, that is. So obviously, like for instance, this one has cell 1, cell 2, cell 7, right? So if we do these by name, if we sort these by site, you'll see it's cell 0, cell 0, cell 0, right? So he's got 6 of these on this. If we look at cell 1, they're all the same. Now, if he were to put a CELL space 0, 1 instead of just a 0, 1, then it would have created another site called cell space 0, 1. And this one would be kind of by itself on its own site. Now, it may be at the same place because the coordinates matched. And that's the other thing to remember, is that your coordinates should match for the same site. But basically, it's going to be a different site. And so it's not really going to mess anything up. It's just going to clutter up your map and be harder to locate things and stuff like that. So just keep in mind, same site names, same coordinates for all the APs on the same sites. That's just some other things to consider. So you can sort by any column in this table. It comes default sorted by name. To get to one of these, of course, click on the name of the AP and you can edit it any way you want. So if you change direction or change antenna or something like that and you need to make updates, that's what that's for. So once you're done with that, go ahead and click this box. It says check here if you have entered all your APs. And that's going to make that green triangle show up in the tile on the dashboard. So now that we've looked at APs, let's go ahead and look at our sites. So once again, the sites, we do have a way to do a template upload. If you've already uploaded your AP template, then all your sites should be here already. If you are really insistent on doing a site template, you can instead, and starting with the sites. But just remember that if you do it that way, if you upload your sites first, you need to make sure that the names you use for your sites are the same names that you used in your AP template. Otherwise, your AP template is going to create new sites again. So just keep that in mind. The spellings need to be the same. And the spacings, if there's dashes or whatever you put in for your site name, it has to be identical. Otherwise, when you upload your APs, it's going to try to create new sites again. So there's not a lot of data that goes with the sites. If you wanted to add a site manually, so if you're coming back in and you've been with us before, but you had say you added a new site or two, again, it's probably best just to come in here and add them manually. And in that case, if you do have new sites for this filing period, this is the place where you would come first instead of the APs. So if you're going to add a new site manually, come here and add the site first, because you can do all of it from here. So you would put in your new site name, the state you're in. This is a drop down, but again, my video recording software doesn't like to show my drop downs, but it does have a list of states in there. Your lat and long for this site, the elevation of the site, and this is the kind of the overall elevation. This is not the elevation your APs are mounted at. This is just like the tower height or whatever, right to the top. And then what type of tower is. And really, this is just for your reference. This is not, we don't really use this data for anything other than just for you to remember. Like if you come in here and go, man, I can't remember how tall that tower was or what type it was. When you're adding your APs and stuff, it might help you. And so fill that data out. And once you have that data filled out, you can actually add your APs from here. So this is just, if you click this add AP button, it's just going to take you to the same, AP page that you had that I showed you before, adding the AP, and you'll have to fill out all that data. So let's look at what one of those would look like once we have it done. We'll just click this one. And so here's this text site cell 00. He's in Texas. Here's his lat longs. He's got his elevation, and he just put in tower for the type. So it doesn't really matter what you put there. It's a free form field. But you can see he's got 6 APs here. And so you can see his elevation, his azimuth, beam width, all that fun stuff. This is just kind of the basic information. Obviously, it doesn't have everything that we need here in this table, but we had limited space, so we didn't want to clutter it up. If you wanted to edit one of these, you can. So you just click edit, and it'll bring you right to that AP. If you save it or cancel it, once you do either one, it'll bring you back to the tower. You can see again all your APs. Now, if you needed to add a new AP, as I was saying before, if you've added a new site, you can add one right from here as well. And that'll take you to a blank page. So we're just going to cancel and come back. So basically that's the site page. So pretty simple. We don't require a lot of information, except the APs have quite a bit that you're going to have to go get, and that's pretty much it. That sets up your network. Now, there are some other settings that we need to go through. So let's go ahead and look at those. So our RF and throughput settings here. So this is new as of last period. And this is kind of a differentiator for us. And I'll explain that in just a second. So what this does for us is allows us to know what your minimum signal is to achieve certain throughputs. And this is important because, just doing line of sight and saying, oh yeah, I can see that spot on a roof or something like that. Well, that's great. But what signal strength are you going to get? And for that signal, what throughput can you get at that signal strength? And this is based off of, an RF prediction that we do. And so knowing your height, your gains on both ends obviously is important. Your signal to strength ratio, signal to noise ratio, and then of course your download and upload maximums based on the minimum received signal level. So an example of this would be, okay, I can install somebody. The minimum I will install somebody at is a neg 70, because I just know that if I go above neg 70, as far as decreasing numbers, so like 72, 73 in a negative, that it's just not going to be a reliable signal. So I won't install anything, greater than a neg 70. And I know that if I do a neg 70, I can at least deliver 20 by 3. So that's one of my tiers. Now, if I can get a neg 65, then I know I can deliver 50 by 5. So basically, this is the minimum signal strength you're going to install somebody at, and what speeds you can deliver at that signal strength. So if you have 3, so if you know that if you get neg 50 or something, then basically, and you can deliver 100 megs at neg 50, then you can add that tier. So let's take a look at what this looks like when you want to set these up. So it just brings up a form. that has our 2.4 gigahertz. This is what this is. So this is actually a drop down. And once again, you won't be able to see these options. Unknown why, but this will have all the different frequency bands that you would deal with in wireless or unlicensed wireless. And so you would just choose the band from that drop down. And then again, your max standard CPE height. This is an unusual case because this guy actually does put in 40-foot poles everywhere. But most of the time, the FCC wants to limit this to 23 feet. So we would say go ahead and just put 23 feet in here for most cases. So unless you actually do like 40-foot or 30-foot poles or something everywhere, then don't put in 30 or 40 or whatever. Just put in the 23. The max CPE antenna gain. So this is really kind of your the most common CPE you would use. Now, if you typically stock like a 23 dBi dish or something like that, and you can install that anytime, then you could put that in. But typically this is going to be whatever your CPE gain is that you use for the most part. And then the minimum signal to noise ratio. This should be in your manufacturer specs, but if you don't know what this is, 10 is a good number to go with. Throughput settings. So again, this is where your download and upload speeds. So you're going to have your your minimum download and your minimum upload based on this minimum signal strength, right? Or your so again, let's just go over this and say if I won't install anybody at lower than neg 70 because I know I just can't provide reliable service. But at neg 70, I can deliver 20 by 3. But if I get a neg 65, then I can deliver 50 by 5. Now, again, if I added another one and said, oh yeah, I can get 100 by 20 if I have a neg 50 or something here, then you would just put in your neg 50 and your 100 by 20, and that would be it. So say 100 by 20, and then you would go ahead and save this. But I'm not going to do that. I don't want to mess them up. But anyway, you can see he has quite a few bands he uses. So he's filled out speed tiers. He's got a couple speed tiers for each band. Here's one where he only has one. So if he uses this 365 band, he's only only delivering 60 by 20. Now he uses LTE, and so this min RX signal is going to be a little bit higher here, because it's LTE, a little bit different technology. Does have some 900, again, only delivers one speed in 900. And then he's got some 60 where he delivers a couple of different speeds, based on that signal he can install. So this is really important for us. If you just don't get it yet or don't quite understand what this is, please reach out to us and we can help you set this up. And once again, when you're done with this, just check the box and then, of course, come back to the dashboard. Okay, so the next section, if you have it, is going to be our wireline or our polygon section. So this one just has fiber, but if we had cable or DSL, you would see tiles in here for those as well. But pretty much they're all the same. So once you click one of these, it's going to bring you to your fiber polygon route upload section. And what this does is allows us to take a polygon, either a KML or a shapefile, and basically what we do with that is we take that polygon or the shape or the route and we analyze it against the fabric data. So if it's a route, we are using buffer around that route to determine which addresses you cover. So we kind of create a polygon anyway around that route, just using a buffer. And if it's the polygon, then we just use the polygon that you upload. And again, this has to be KML or shapefile for us to do this. You can also create these on the map now. You can actually draw them in our map, and we'll go over that later in this demo. But if you already have your polygons or routes, you can just bring them here. And you're going to add this. It's going to want to know your technology. And, of course, if you're fiber and you come into the fiber, you've only got one choice here. It's going to be fiber optical carrier fiber. And then you would just put in your max download and upload speeds that you can provide for that. And then you would, again, choose your file. This is pretty straightforward. Choose the file that you want and then upload it. And it should just show you what that file is once it's done uploading. And then once you've uploaded all your files, then just check this box. And again, that will update it on the dashboard. So the last section is the BDC fabric and then your subscriber spreadsheets, and these are pretty important. The BDC, actually the fabric, we don't require an upload anymore for this because we actually have acquired a nationwide license with CostQuest. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't need to go get a license. If you don't already have one, you have to go get one. And so the only thing you have to do here is come in here and check this box that says I've acquired my license. And we really do need you to get that, and we'll probably ask you for the email that says, where they sent you an email for the download, because you can, once you get your license, they should send you a download for the files for this period. But once you get that email, just send us a copy and then come in here and check this box, because we do need to verify that you have a license before we can do your analysis. So, but you don't have to upload the files anymore, which is great. So the subscriber section, this is the last really important section. So we don't take subscription files from billing systems anymore. And the reason is most of them don't handle all the technology codes. And so we really don't know, like for your wireless unlicensed or licensed, especially like for the 365, we don't know if it's PAL or GAA or if you have educational. None of the billing systems are really differentiating that. So we really have to get a subscriber list from you. And we don't share this data. In fact, you don't have to put in identifying information. So you can see, for instance, this customer just puts in numbers, just puts in the customer IDs, I guess, from his billing system. And so we don't know the names. We don't really care about it. The only thing we really care about here is the lat longs or the address. And it's an either or situation. You can certainly put both if you want, but we do require that you have either the lat long or the address here. So we do have a template file once again for this, and it's very basic. And again, you can view the instructions from here. This just shows you, obviously, customer, lat long, and address, city, state, zip, the download speed, upload speed, and these are the actual plan that they have. If they're doing VoIP, you either put a 0 or the number of lines that they have here. If they're a business customer, you put a 1, otherwise it's a 0. Again, keep this in mind. It's not true, false, yes, no, it's 1 or 0. And then the technology. So, and these technology codes, changed last period, and I know some people didn't understand that they had changed and they kept using our old codes, but because they added the wireless GAA and PAL and all that stuff last time, we had to change these. So please keep this in mind if you're filling this out again. Make sure that it has one of these codes in it, otherwise it's not going to work. So get your template file here, and then fill that out. And then again, you would just come here to upload the spreadsheet. And we've already gone over this, couple other sections, same thing. It's going to upload it. If there's errors, typically it doesn't do all the error checking right when you upload it, because there's quite a bit of stuff we have to check in this file to make sure it's right. We also normalize addresses with a special routine. So it does take some time to actually go through and do these. And also, if you gave us addresses instead of lat longs, it has to go geocode everything. So this is not really something we can do while you wait. It does it in the background. And then if there's errors, it's going to send you an email with what those errors are. Okay. So, and then we actually in here have another section, because we do try to match these addresses against what's already in the BDC. But it does have to be almost an exact match. It has to be at least 97% match for the address in order for that to actually come up with a match. Now, we do have a way for you to match these manually in the map. It's a little bit time consuming, but you can do it. And we'll go through that here in a little bit. So, but again, subscriber section is very important, especially if you want all your current subscribers showing up in the filing. So, and once again, if you upload these and you're done, successful, all that fun stuff, just check this box and it'll be there. Now you can also add subscribers manually. Obviously, if you just added maybe 10 or 20 since the last time, you might want to do that. It's basic information. Again, just the name, type. Type is either going to be a lead or active, and we have the lead in there because the signal qual piece here, where you can come in and qualify people on the map, or they can qualify themselves on your web page if you're using that component, and they can get put in as a lead. So we're not going to use the leads for your filing, but that's really for your information and the qualification purposes for signal qual. So again, check this box when you're done. Come back to the dashboard. Once you're all green on your dashboard, you are ready to file. And that actually notifies us as well that you're ready to file. We have a status page where you can look this up and kind of see everything you're seeing as far as status goes. And once it's all green on our board, we go ahead and file for you. So that's the important part. So with that, we're going to go ahead and stop this video here. We're at over 30 minutes already, so it's been quite a long video. But the next video we're going to do gets into our new mapping features, which there are quite a few of. So we highly encourage you to watch that video as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you the next time.